Hello everyone and welcome to PaxAriaGaming. This is Reg, joining you for part 12 of Wuchang Fallen Feathers, or Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Not quite sure how to correctly pronounce it. Okay, so we're picking up where we were last time when we saw the entity across the way that would shoot things at us if we jump down here, and of course the way forward is to jump down here and move forward. So we're at the Palace Pass. We have to continually dodge these bolts. And there are two enemies below us as well. So playing as a mage, even though I'm trying to become a battle mage, I'm not going to jump down there and fight them while this thing is shooting at me. So I'm going to snipe them from up here while continually dodging these bolts, which appear to fire off every 10 seconds. So it gives you plenty of time to do what I just did, to sort of watch. You can actually see the bolts coming and just dodge left or right. Okay, so you want to be a little bit further away from them when they hit. So if you start out on the left side of this little ledge, when he fires and you sort of dodge to the right side, you should miss all of that. Okay, I dodged too early, but I dodged enough at the end for this thing to miss me. And it's just going to keep doing that. So you got to get your timing right. The reason I haven't jumped down there yet or used another spell is because I'm waiting for my Skyborn Might to redevelop. Once that happens, I can sort of jump down. Also, I mentioned in the last episode the sound issue that we were having and indicated that the start of this particular video would also have the same issue, but sound does reappear midway through this video. So if you just bear with me talking more than I would normally be talking, I will narrate my way through this. If you're wondering where we are, we're back in, this is the Palace Pass, but the full area is the Worship's Rise in Ruins area. All right, so we kill that guy. Took out the dog, and the goal is to run across this little fleshy bridge. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything on this side, and I'm not. I don't want him to shoot me off the bridge, so let him fire one more time, or let it fire one more time. And then the goal is just to get across the bridge. I'm going to miss this little bamboo thing, aren't I? Yeah, just ran right past him. But I'm not going to miss the bird. Okay, so the cave ahead, which is where we have to go. I was thinking about going back for the bamboo little creature and decided I don't really use a lot of them, so I'm not too worried about it. I will say you will need 5 for an item that you'll need late game that will help you get your weapon to +10. I think after a certain point, all of all the merchants will sell them. But when we get to the point when we were first able to get it to level 10, we'll need to buy it from the panda, who we'll meet later on. So this cave ahead has got a couple of centipedes in it, who are very annoying since you can't really see them until you're in the cave, and there's also a corruption in the cave. So if you wanted to, you could just re-equip corruption resistance armor, the purple flower thing that eliminates corruption. The centipedes will spit blight at you, I believe is what that is. And you have something that can mitigate that as well, a consumable that can mitigate that. So you have choices, or you can sort of fight your way through, hoping that you don't get caught somewhere. You can see that the corruption builds pretty quickly, but it won't kill you that fast. Okay, so the centipedes are dead. I'm going to go back. Eat one of my purple flowers. Grab this item. I think all the centipedes are dead. The corruption at this point, you're going to have to deal with it going through this little cave anyway. I see I have enough to level up as well. So there's not much you can do about that. So you can wait for it to go all the way down and then sort of make your way, run your way through the cave. I think the issue is not knowing what's on the other side of that. Like, are you running into an area where you might fall off a cliff? Are you running into a boss? You just don't know. But you got to have a little faith. Oh, yeah. You got those exploding things, too. There are not a lot of them. There are a couple of them. We got corruption and blight. It's freaking me out. Okay. All right, let me go back one more time and sort of reset. All right, let me get rid of this stuff. Oh, there was one more centipede. I was like, how did I get blight? Okay, there was one more centipede in the group. Come here. Okay. Got the centipede. Now I'm blighted and corrupted. I was taking a bit of a risk by not healing immediately since my health was pretty low. That's the only annoying thing about it, is that you end up blowing through some of your heals. But I got to believe that there's got to be a shrine coming up. There's got to be. I mean, we're pretty far away from the last one. So there's got to be one coming up at some point real soon. I say that, but the developers might decide, no, we want to make you wait a little bit longer. And if I just run a little bit further, we would have been out of the cave. I wasn't quite sure. And we remember this from the first time we came through Worship's Rise, when it wasn't in ruins. We had this sort of gate structure that we had to go through. We climb the top. There's an enemy. I think there's another one beyond. It's the same structure, different enemies, right? Because we've been introduced to new enemy types, and this is Worship's Rise and Ruins. So things aren't exactly the same as they were when we were here the first time. The enemies in this part of the game, I mean, if you level up sufficiently, you should be able to deal with them, but they are different. Some of them move faster. If you're a strength build, you won't have any problems. If you're a caster or a mage build, you're going to have some issues. But the way I handle it, here's the shrine. The way I handle it is I just take my time. If I have to wait for my Skyborn Might to rebuild, I'm going to wait. You can get it to do it faster by dodging, but there are some enemies that move so fast. Okay, so we're level 89, which is probably on target. I think what most people would find if they've gotten this far in the game, if they haven't rage quit because of one of the previous bosses. I could be slightly ahead only because when I'm having these boss fights and I die a lot, I go back and I level up. I'm always going to sort of do that. Because otherwise, it becomes tedious to sort of fight a boss 40 or 50 times in a row and lose each time. So what I do is I break it into sets of 10. Fight the boss 10 times. If I lose, go level up 1 and come back and do it again. And then that way, even if I'm losing, I'm gaining something. It's not a total waste. I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm gaining levels. By the way, that's a strategy I've used in all of the Souls type games, including Elden Ring. Okay, he's too fast for my, not really. Okay. No, all right, it worked. I was going to say he's too fast for my spell, but the spell worked well. It works better when you're attacking while the ice spears are hitting him. That enemy type, by the way, is as annoying to me as the pot ladies are. They move very fast. They're relentless. They just won't stop attacking once they start at you. Some of them spit something out of their mouth, a sort of a fire acid type thing. But they're all fast. They all move really, really fast. And I've tried tempering my weapon and sort of just going toe-to-toe with them, and I've lost every time. I've tried dodging around a lot, which helps, but you take a lot of chip damage because they're going to hit you anyway. Even though my weapon's evasive maneuver is supposed to give me invincibility frames, it does, but when I stop, and eventually those frames will go away. So it does create a bit of a problem with that particular enemy type. And there are plenty of them in this part of the game. Yeah, as we were about to see, because this little idiot is going to jump right out and immediately start in. That's the spit stuff that he uses. And he just won't let up. So dodging is good. Making sure you time your heals properly is also good. Because he's not going to leave you alone. I mean, you can back away, but he's going to eventually come towards you. See, I'm trying to dodge. And he still manages to hit me. The fire spell seems to work against him. I think my Vorpal Blades won't be quick enough. So the idea is to build up Skyborn Might. Looks like I have him less than half health. So if I get one more, I should be able to go in and hit him a couple of times with my short sword. I have 3 short swords. The intro one we found at Lighton Temple. The second one, I don't remember where I found it. And then there's a frost-based one that I have not used. And that spell that I used on the previous enemy up top was the frost-based spell. So I use that spell and use that sword. It would create a lot of frost damage. There are also benedictions that you can use, and maybe even a temper. I haven't checked that you can use, and it could end up being a pretty interesting setup. I haven't done it, but it could be an interesting setup. Maybe worth trying later in the late game. By the time you guys see this video, I will have already gone through this part, which is part 12 and part 13. So the next opportunity for me to use any of that would be in the actual end game. So I haven't completed the game, but I am in the end game stages. I think there may be 2 bosses left. I think I'm in the last location of the game, or second to the last location of the game. Well, depending on your end game. Okay, so this is the Palace Underground. And actually, it's Doom Beach, but it's beneath the Palace Underground. This is Commander Honglan. Remember we fought her early? She was sort of like the first real test for us in this game. And at the time, I thought she was, at the time, she was the toughest boss we'd faced. So, and I will say she's probably still ranked up there if I were to rank, of course, she killed me first time because that always happens. If I were to rank most difficult bosses, she probably would be in my top 5. She would not be number 1. Number 1's coming up a little bit later in this video, and I'll show you that one. But she won't be, she'll be top 5. So Honglan has some of the same moves as she had in the first time we faced her. I think it was at Tang Palace? I can't remember where we faced her. But she has some of the same moves, but she now also uses magic or feathering, which is something she wasn't doing before. So she's not, I don't think she's more difficult than she was. In fact, I think that other fight was more difficult than this, even though she now has magic. And the reason I say that is because at this point in the game, you're stronger and you have more weapons at your disposal than you did when you fought her the first time. So in terms of skill check, this is not one. The first time we fought her was definitely a skill check. So we know that that you can dodge those. If you dodge through those, well, I didn't dodge that one. If you dodge through those, you'll be fine. The first time facing her, you sort of don't know all of her moves. The second time, you know that she has those slashes and that they're easily dodgeable. So Sekiro is all about deflecting. This one is really all about dodging. Although there are some, depending on the weapons you're using, there are some deflects that you can do, especially if you're using the dual blades. I guess clashing is what they call it. But with a short sword, you don't have that as an option. So what you do is the reason I'm sticking with this short sword, by the way, and not the astral sword, which is a stronger sword. If I were interested in more melee, I would probably use that because you get more damage and you get magic damage and it increases your spell potency. So all of those are pluses. The problem with it is it doesn't give me the evasive maneuver that this one does. So this allows me to have an increase in my iframes, although there is a benediction that will allow you to do that as well. And I think when you stack both of them, you get a little bit more. I mean, you're talking tenths of a second. You're not talking 3 or 4 seconds of invincibility. Ephemeral form gives you, I believe it's 4 seconds. So some of them you can time, and some of them it's just long enough for you to get a heal in. I mean, for me, that's the importance of some of those. It's not that, oh, I'm going to use it, run around, try to get a backstab on the enemy that I'm fighting. It's usually I need to heal, and I'm going to use this opportunity to heal. If I get one more of these off, oh, wow, she survived that. Wow. Okay, she didn't survive that one, though. So she wasn't that difficult. Overall, this was my 10th attempt on her. So 9 previous times I died, the 10th time I got her. So I know you're saying, but you said she was easy. Well, compared to the 90 plus and the 40 something plus, yeah, 10 times is not difficult. Interesting little door, which we're going to take because it's the only thing we can do here. Yeah, there are a couple of these in the game. There's the boatman off that way. I'm going to grab this item and then we're going to chat with him, see why he brought us here. Yeah, it's always odd finding out where to stand in order to talk to them. So I think that might be the last time we see the commander. I'm not sure. Because we've seen Commander Honglan a couple of times. I don't know whether we'll see her again. This game has an interesting way of bringing people back in different forms. And you'll see that with a couple of other characters that we've already met. Love parts, hate unites. Okay, enough chatter. Off you go. Your journey is far from over. Not necessarily true. But there are points where you can end the game pretty quickly. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go all the way through to the end to try to get the good endings. One of the two good endings. Okay, so we're back at the palace entrance. And of course, we sort of scoured the area and we found this interesting thing over here. It's an enemy. It's sort of fire-based. I'd already had changed my temper. I probably shouldn't have, because I'm not sure if fire does a whole lot to this enemy. It might. And I have my frost weapon as well, which does a lot of damage, as you can see. There's another spell as well that works well on big stationary enemies. Doesn't work well if the enemy is moving around, but if you can get sort of on the side of it and use that weapon, you would do well. Okay, this one is not that difficult, and I'm actually doing more melee in this fight than I usually do. And maybe the fire helped. Shoe Sanctum besieged the Revenant Temple. All right, you guys can slow it down and read it. Yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because of the sound. Otherwise, I would sort of show you the whole sort of walkthrough of this part. Otherwise, I'm like, okay, you'll see me killing some of the relevant people, working my way through the area. This is basically leading to the next boss. And these enemy types aren't new. These particular ones aren't new. There are a couple of them that are new to this Worship's Rise and Ruins part. I'll point them out, unless I edited them all out. And if I did, you'll see them in upcoming videos, because they're there. And we're looping around here to get some loot, but also because this is the only way to get to where we need to get to deal with the boss. There would have been avian creatures down here, 2 of them, praying or worshiping something. We killed them from above. We were on an area above this, and we just sniped them from below. We wanted to get this item, right, to help upgrade our flasks. This is a semi-decent farming area as well, but it takes me so long to kill these particular enemy types. I'm not sure it's worth it. Apparently it's a little breezy up here. Okay. So this has boss written all over it, right? So we've cleared out the area leading to this. And someone we've seen before. I think she was always referred to as the red-clad lady, right? She gave us a number of spells. Now she's testing us. She's not a difficult fight, by the way. And a spell that we get from defeating her is really going to be nice. She's not very fast in terms of her moveset. Magic and feathering damage is what she's sort of doling out. Most of her spells are pretty easy to dodge. You want to stay away from that one. That spell, I have that spell. I never use it, typically because the enemies don't stand still long enough for you to use that. During this first phase of the fight, she'll continue to do this. In the second phase, she actually grows another wing. I think she only has one wing here. Yeah, I have that spell as well. Actually, maybe I got it from this fight. I'm jumping ahead here. When she does this thing, you want to run as far away as you can. She's going to nuke the whole place, a little bit like Radon in Shadow of the Erd Tree. You want to get as far away as you can. All right. So if you do that, then you're good. If you don't get far away, it will knock it shouldn't kill you unless you're just standing right where the thing drops, but it will knock a lot of your health out and stun you. Her little spectral guys are pretty easy to dodge. I don't ever try to fight them. I just dodge them. I don't actually know whether you can fight them. I sort of think it's distracting because she's going to continue to throw her different kinds of attacks at you. So in addition to this attack, she also has a sword attack. So you have to dodge both. If you're dodging, like again, if I'm using my evasive maneuver on this short sword, everything gets dodged. You know, you're invulnerable to any of this stuff. Now, again, it doesn't last forever, so you have to either keep dodging. So as long as you have stamina, you can do that. And because she's doing so much and her little minions are doing a lot, you will continually gain Skyborn Might. Now, halfway through the fight, she will create this buff around her, this shield, which is annoying because now you have to break the shield before you can do any damage to her. And the easier way to break the shield actually is to just hit on it, to sort of beat it. But you can use spells against it as well, but you end up using probably 2 or 3 of those spells in order to break it, unless you just use a different spell. I don't know whether if I had used the Echo of Dutanga, whether I could have broken it in one try or not. I probably should have used that. So I guess that particular spell that she uses is rather timed because she's not always shielded, but she will shield at certain points during the fight. When she's not shielded is when you want to get as much damage in as you can. And fire is chipping away at her health. It doesn't seem to be doing a lot, but it's not failing, so yeah, I should be counting the swings so I'll know how many times she swings, because then that informs what I can do in terms of my own moves. Now she's called out her little corpse minions, which is also annoying. She dodged that one. Yeah, I'm not worried about them. I can't say I don't think they can kill me, because they probably can cause me to get killed, but they're really not the problem. She is. And so you want to continually focus on her. And she moves slow enough that these flames, oh, that one she sort of dodged. The flames, when they, okay, so she's going to do the nuke thing again. Same as before, you want to get as far away as you can. Let her enjoy her little nuke show. And then you can go back in and fight. I don't think she'll do it. I don't think she'll do it again. I think we're good. These are pretty easy to dodge. Yeah, her little feathering balls are also easier to dodge than they look. If you're moving, they seem to all miss you. Even when the animation makes it look like it's hitting you, but if you look at your health bar, it's not changing your health bar at all. And there's no buildup of anything. And being really careful not to do the spell while she's doing her thing. Wait till it's done. Oh, she shielded again. This should be the last time she puts the shield up. We should be able to kill her before she's... Well, once we get the shield down, we should be able to kill her before she puts it up again. I can never figure out whether these are timed. I know in some games it's sort of a time thing. If you beat her quick enough, then she won't be able to shield. If you don't, then you're going to have to deal with that. Sorry, that was my Alexa notifying me of something, probably a delivery. She always seems to do it during my recording sessions, which is pretty annoying. Actually, my Alexa is a he. It's a British guy. And by the way, these shields aren't timed. Until you break them, they will stay around indefinitely. Now, when we defeat her, we'll get that as a spell. But the difference between me and her is, of course, I'm not really hitting her a lot, whereas other enemies will hit me a lot. So this little shield doesn't last nearly as long for me as it does for her. Okay. I'm trying not to... I've made all this progress. I really don't want to die. Yeah, things are getting a little frantic here. Come on, one more. Oh, she dodged it. There we go. All right. One of the rare times that I first tried a boss. Trust me when I tell you that does not happen. It's probably only the second time in this game that I've first tried a boss. But as you can see, she's not one of the stronger ones that you have to deal with. If you're able to dodge most of the stuff she's throwing at you, that's good. If you're a melee player, it's even better. Okay, this is the bow shrine. And we're going to go back to Anilum. We need to talk to some of the NPCs. It's been a while since we've talked to a number of them. Plus, we've now killed a boss, so it's always good to go and chat with them after that, even though I rarely buy anything from them now. And then after we finish there, we will head to the Shoe Sanctum, which is where a lot of the other stuff will take place. Okay, so back at the Sanctum. And immediately into another boss. This is the Nightmare Demon. She's a lot like our inner demon. The difference is that she's going to go through different weapons. So it looks like she's starting with what looks like a short sword. Is it a short sword or is it a dual sword? No, I think it's a short sword. I don't know at what point she switches, but she will switch. Okay, now she's dual wielding. She eventually is going to switch to an axe. She's going to switch to a longsword. I think the last thing she uses is a longsword. And because I just got through fighting the Magus with using this setup, I don't know why I didn't change to something else. But it seems to be working, right? Allows me to build up Skyboard might by dodging and then hit her with fire. I believe after we face the Nightmare Demon here, we will face her or a version of her one more time. And that version apparently is even tougher than this one. I didn't find this particular version all that tough. Maybe because the arena is really big. And you have plenty of spaces to run around. And in some of the areas where you fight her, because she appears in some cases sort of out of the blue, you're stuck in a smaller space that you don't have the space to maneuver. In this arena, you can just keep going around in circles. Now, don't let her pin you into a corner. That's a bad move. Yeah, her. I think it's the. I don't know if it's an axe or. I think it's the axe. Yeah, it's an axe. Her axe also fires like shotgun shots at you or cannon shots at you. They're easy to dodge. You can see her motion when she's getting ready to fire that off. Yeah, the goal is not to let her ever get close enough to actually hurt you. Now, when she switches, yeah, you can always dodge those. Oh, okay, I didn't realize she did it twice in a row. The axe really hurts if it hits you. When she switches to the longsword, it's really annoying because she seems to be more aggressive when she switches to that. You do have time to heal because of the size of the arena, which is helpful. You don't necessarily have time to heal when you're in a smaller area. Okay, I guess she took the same advice. She healed. Okay, now she's using sort of a corruption spell on that sword that she has. Okay, so she switched to the long sword here. These are easy to dodge. She sort of telegraphs it a little bit. You can sort of see when she pulls the sword back that she's about to do that. like I said, she's much more aggressive in this particular part of the fight. I think for folks who are melee users, I don't know how you get a backstab on her because she's just constantly moving. I thought she was about to throw one of those little... That's what I thought she was going to do last time. Okay, one more should do it. Yeah, maybe I interrupted her before. She was doing the same thing, and then she didn't do the... Oh, God, she dodged it. Yeah, see, she is much more aggressive this time around. Okay, she got me. I mistimed my spell. Not this time. All right. This was the 5th attempt. I think the first time I was surprised by the fact she was switching weapons. And then when I realized she was switching weapons, I tried using a temper and thinking that I could sort of fight her hand-to-hand, do hand-to-hand combat with her. Didn't quite work out. So then I went back to the original setup that I used for Magus. Okay, we're at Reverend Temple. So these guys, these soldier guys that you see here, and this is my real inner demon, not the inner demon we just fought. This is not the nightmare demon. This is the regular inner demon. But that soldier, they're non-hostile, by the way. And I guess you would know that because you can't lock onto them. There are a number of them in this area. And I don't know whether that's true for everybody and whether it's true... Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's true for everybody. But they will fight. If you can kite an enemy over to where they are, they'll fight the enemy. Any enemy, not just the inner demon. And as long as she doesn't aggro on you again, he will continue to fight her. He gets some pretty good hits in. Sometimes, you know, depending on who they fight, they live, and sometimes they die. I don't want him to die and then leave me vulnerable. So we're going to use this spell. Then we're going to jump in, and we're going to take her out. All right. A little unfair, but it worked. Sorry, buddy. Good job. They don't always die. Okay, this is where, before this place went into ruins, this is where the panda and the storyteller were. That's the first time we met them, was in this little cave. I think it's called the Narrow Stretch, but that was the first time we met them. They're obviously not there now. You had 2 Avian guys who was there. We killed them. Just looking around to make sure I'm not missing any loot. I don't think there's loot back here, but may as well check. Yeah, it's funny because there's sometimes you do that, you go around the corner and you find loot. Other times, it's enough to keep you honest, you know, to make sure that you're exploring. Back at Shoe Sanctum. Shoe Sanctum is the hub for this little section of the game, by the way. So from here, we'll go back to a lot of the areas that we visited when we visited Shu Sanctum the first time. And this is Reverent Temple. Now, the guy who's over there fighting with the red name, Quan Hu, I think he was an NPC. And I think that was something I was supposed to do, and I didn't do, which is why he became hostile. But these other guys will fight him as well. But he's pretty tanky, so I don't think they can actually beat him. You know, I usually just run around trying to get him back over there, like. But he is really tanky. Yeah, he's just fighting Ghost now. I don't know what he's doing over there. Oh, he just discovered that I was over here. Maybe he'll fight that guy. Nope. I was going to say maybe he'll fight that guy, but no, he's coming after me. So I can get this off. Yep. Okay, yeah, he is fighting the other guys. Ah, okay, he's dead. Cool. Yeah, I really don't remember why he's hostile. You know, I've been trying to do all of the NPC quests, but clearly I've missed a couple of steps somewhere along the line. And when you do, the consequence could be the NPC disappears, the NPC becomes hostile. I don't think any of these change the end game, but I think there is a couple of them that could change the end game. I have not messed up any of those, so I'm trying to still have some choice as to which ending I get. Okay, so we want to just loot anything that we see here. Make sure we're not missing anything. Again, these are non-hostile guys. They will not hurt you. They will fight with you or fight in support of you. If you remember this from the boatman was in this little area the first time we were here. I think this is where the boatman was. Yeah, he was over here. And we had gates leading to different sections, so everything looks different. It's a little bit like game I was playing, one of those games where I think in one area in Black Myth Wukong, there was an area that was gloomy, and then when you completed a particular boss, it changed. And if you went back to the area, you don't have to go back, but if you went back to the area, it was bright. It was at the beginning of Web Hollow. Okay, we're going to talk to you. Yeah, she's a little upset that me and, again, she calls him Haydaxia, but that's not we call him. But anyway, that we left her. So we're going to talk to her here. She's going to change locations after this. Yeah, she's not too thrilled. So when we next see her, it'll be in Annalum. But you'll only sort of talk to us if Haydaxia is with me. And that research journal is something we have to give to him. The Ring of Samara is a thing that we should not use. Under no circumstances should you use that before the end game. So you're going to be getting a couple of items that you wonder, what is this for? And if you go in and you try to use it, you could mess up your end game. So we have a new pendant, which I'm probably not going to use. Some of the pendants are situational and some are your go-to always on pendants. So we're going to talk to her. I don't know where her bodyguard is. He's usually like right beside her. He still doesn't talk, so she's giving us a little bit more lore. Remember, when the game started, Wuchang didn't have any memory of who she was. We're going to show her the Imperial Guard token. If you do that, or if you hand over the brocade, it won't matter. It won't change her part of the story, and it won't change what happens with you. So you can't make a bad choice there. You know, some of these games is really funny because you're not always sure, and then you make the decision. And unlike other games, you don't have save slots. So once you make the decision, unless you're playing on PC and you're backing things up and you're doing it that way, you're just SOL. So unless you want to end up in the shit out of luck category, you have to be really, really careful, especially with this one. Like I said, in other Souls games, it's a little bit different. We have another spell. This one's a little bit like our Vorpal Blade, but supposedly it gives you a little bit of health back when you use it. But I'm not sure how much health. I'll use it, I'll equip it and use it to see whether or not it gives me enough to make it useful. It's definitely not as strong in terms of damage as the Vorpal Blades. Okay, we found our buddy. Hey, Fang is pissed off with you. Yeah, he's not sure how his story is going to end, but he just seems to be getting worse and worse in terms of everything. She's talking about the ancient texts, making the connection between who these monsters are and the Bow people. We're going to get more on the Bow folks soon, because they're all of chapter 5. Takes place in the Bow capital. I'm going to give them the research journal scrap. So now we know that the 4, that there's more that we need, and we've already gotten one part of it, right? When we're talking to Fang, we got it. And then there's the other part, which we'll find. And of course, he then does his little, okay, we have another Ring of Samara. All right, so we have 2 pieces. Do not use that either at this point. Okay, other than talking to the merchants, there's nothing else to do here. Oh yeah, there is. We can try talking to Fang, but as I told you. She's not going to open the door unless he Uzai or he Daxia is there. So she was serious about that. So right now there's nothing else you can do for her. So we can move on. May as well talk to the merchants while we're here. If there's anything we have to give them, we should give it to them. Yep, the Gilded Axe. Yeah, I'm not, again, I haven't really bought anything. And now we're into the next area of the game. This is the area that leads us to the Bow Capital. This is the capital entrance, and we find here, if I'm pronouncing his name, Yuang Zhangyi, or Yuang Yangzi. I'm never going to get the pronunciations correct, so pardon me, all the Chinese speakers out there, for mispronouncing these names. Remember, we were told not to trust this guy very early in the game. Not sure why yet, but you're going to get to a point where there's a decision to be made. So he's looking for an item that we have, by the way. If only I had the divine object still here. In time, it could save all living souls. Don't know whether that's true. So we're going to remain silent. If we give over that chisel, we will not be able to progress through this chapter 5. It pushes you directly to the end game. But if you don't hand over the chisel, oh, by the way, and if you hand over the chisel, he will be a summons in the last fight. If you don't hand over the chisel, he will not be a summons that you can use in the last fight. So this is the Burning Cave. I think it's the Burning Cave. It's called the Burning Cave. We have the plain warrioress again. She's egging us on. And as you can see, there's a boss in the background that she wants us to fight. And we have sound again. Just in time for the boss fight. Yeah, he's very weak to fire. Just pimp stuff. Again. Yeah, I don't think this is a boss I'm going to first try. Definitely will have opportunities to hit, but the smart move would be to stay behind him or on the side of him, which I'm not doing. Right? Notice I'm standing in front of him and he's just swiping the hell out of him. Yeah, that tail slap thing is easily avoidable. Reminds me a little bit of the Fierce Tiger with his jumping. What the hell is this? Okay. Not something to worry too much about. He does cover the arena pretty well. If you're dodging, you should be good. Okay, so we have him. Can't tell if he's on fire or not. His color. As you can see, fire does a lot of damage to him. Yeah, this little move. When he slams, you want to not be in the slam area. God damn it, I just said it. I didn't want to be in slam area. Okay, that seems to be odd. So yeah, you want to avoid that. I think if you dodge it at the right time, you should be fine. This is one of the rare two-phase bosses.
It withstood strong for 277 prosperous years. Alas, the Ming dynasty has woefully fallen. But while an empire can perish, you can never erase its honor! You forged realm, who held fast. I shall restore Ming.
Okay, so it looks like he's going to unleash some bullshit on
Had such power then, those fools would stand no longer.
that thing you're supposed to run away from.
Thank you.
And that's why you're supposed to run away from. There's a
Where are my ministers?
there's a pillar somewhere in the land that you can use to hide. Okay, well, that was quick. And the annoying part is you don't get new resources.
I'll have you pay!
Okay. We tried to turn the game sound down a little bit. The issue is you don't get any new resources, so it certainly benefits you to kill this phase as quick as you can before you start using up all of your mana, your health. And figuring out he's weak to fire seems to be doing a lot of damage quickly, so the goal is always kill him in 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And then use your resources on the second. The second phase is the Dragon Emperor. This is the Reborn. Yeah, you wanna... This is my 10th attempt. That's why I got the timing down. Like, okay, you can get them in 2 minutes or less in this first phase, then you could survive the second phase. for it. Check. That worked. So in this phase, the goal is to run to that pillar that I was looking for in the last clip. It's right over there. I also have Magus's shield, which I tried a couple of times and it really wasn't all that helpful since if he hits you one time, the shield breaks. So it's not like I'm taking chip damage. He's actually hitting me each time. So you want to, after this explosion, you can go out and start fighting him. I didn't get to explain much about the fight. So that's the Magus shield. You can see it's still up, protecting me from that little blast. Now he's gaining health. And if I was close to him, it also broke my shield. If I was close to him, it would steal my health to give him health. So when he's doing that, you should continually attack him. If you do that, he won't gain as much health as you lose, assuming you're full health when you start doing it. It's easy to see where he's going to come out of the little phase if you're looking up and you're paying attention. The other annoying thing about this fight is the hitboxes are all weird. Like right now, just I should keep hitting a heal, make sure I'm healed, and I should go back to hitting him. So he ended up with the edge. With the edge that time. Because he ended up with more health. And I ended up losing health. I was trying to get close enough to use my spell, which of course I totally whiffed. That spell should melt him. So the next time I get a chance to use it, if I'm close enough, and I'll have opportunities, I just have to time it right. Like now. So that took away basically half of his health, because I was close enough to him. He's healing, but so I minimized it as much as I could. I'm going to use this again. Now if I keep dodging around, my Skyborn should recharge it pretty quickly. Since he's wailing. Oh, okay, I got another obliterate. Didn't see that coming. And I have a full charge, so I'm ready to go with the spell again. It should kill him.
Treacherous menace.
If I had known that in the first few times I fought him, it would have been a very easy fight. Probably would have been one of the easiest fights in the game.
Your Majesty!
Watch out!
And people kept saying, that spell is OP, and every time I've used it, it hasn't really demonstrated OP-ness. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not as OP. So it was a little disappointing. And then when I realized if you have a stable or stationary boss and you use it, it actually works well.
So, the true dragon's blood beckons.
Okay, we're back to Zhuang Yangzi. He's the guy who wanted the chisel from us, and we didn't give it to him. You and her bodyguard over there. And the way forward is dealing with a whole bunch of really difficult little areas in this game. Before we do that, we have some other things we need to take care of. They're not dead. Apparently they're just taking a nap. I'm not sure why.
To think there was such a place beneath the burning cave. Years of searching, only to find it beneath my very feet. This is the essence of immortality. The legends were true. This is the Hall of Ascension. Great Feathered One, at last, I shall ascend.
I think he's lost his little mind. Okay, so this area is fairly large. It's a vertical area. We have to work our way up. But before we do that, we have a NPC that we need to confront. Remember the white-robed elder. You know, when we fought the bow sorcerer, he sort of claimed that was his inner demon. At least that was his inference. I still don't understand exactly what he meant by that. But anyway, he said it, and I thought, okay, well, you know, we did him a favor. However, we did not go back to the tomb, which is where he was located. So we need to go back to the tomb to confront him. We have a message. I don't remember whether we'll see that guy again, actually. Maybe we won't. Oh no, this is from the this is from you. You and the guard. Okay, so now we can go back to deal with the white-robed elder. And again, I can tell you from the start, he ended up breaking my bow sorcerer record for a number of attempts. The run back is actually pretty quick. It's not that bad. You don't fight any enemies between the shrine and where he's located. These guys are non-hostile. That's all they do. They don't even make the pathetic, like, fear noises that the other guys do. You cross this rope bridge, you go through this tunnel, and you're in the tomb. He's way on the other end of the arena. That's the bow Magus shield thing that I got. He now has a new name. His name is now Eternal Glory. So I'm guessing this may be the ghost of the white-robed elder, not the actual white-robed elder. Since it's saying it's his spirit. Yeah, he goes through my shield pretty quickly. There's no way for me to avoid getting hit.
Witness the might of the dragon!
And like in a lot of Souls games, the very first attempt you have is, in some cases, is always a pretty half-decent attempt. And then you don't get close again for like another 80 tries. It pretty much stays on the move, so it's very difficult to sort of I don't know how anyone can actually fight him with melee. I guess you can if you have the ability to block or deflect, depending on the weapon. That stab move that he has, where you hear the audible cue, if you are 80% health and above, you're okay. If you're below that, it'll kill you. He'll trash talk a little bit. He'll skewer you like a shish kebab and then trash talk you, throw you across the arena, and then you die. The little ice things, if you just keep dodging, it won't have any impact on you. He does frost damage, obviously slash damage, stab damage. That spell will knock you over if you're close. Yes, and he summons little ice clones, which is annoying, but like in the previous fight where we had little clone guys, I'm not sure it's worth fighting them, because I don't know whether you can actually fight them. So the idea would be to always focus on him. The lock-on mechanic doesn't really change. So it doesn't change from locking onto him to locking onto them. Okay. He killed me with that move. Actually, I guess he can kill you with that move too, the stab move, but that's not the one I was talking about.
The Empire.
I don't remember how many attempts I left in, so this could be the final attempt, or this could be one of the midway throughs. Because I think I saved number 40, and then went another like 50 before I finally got him. This was like a 92 try. A 92 try. Yeah, this must be number 40 because I'm still using this particular. So in the first attempt, I used fire, and it was actually doing a lot of damage. And then I switched for some weird reason back to this spell right here, and the reason I switched to it is because it worked really well with Honglan, the Commander Honglan, and a number of other bosses that were really fast, and it gives you alacrity, but so does the fire. So that was a quicker death than the first one. The first attempt was actually my best attempt until the last two attempts, the final two attempts. And they were annoying because I got him all the way down to it. If I just hit him one or two times, he would have been dead. The other benefit of this particular spell is it can cover the whole arena. So no matter where he is, if you cast it, it'll hit him. And like all the spells, if you dodge, he doesn't stay still enough to use the one I used on the Dragon Emperor. He'd have to like stay still, like, okay, in this stance here, if I hit him, he's gonna do that, even though I didn't hit him. But if I had hit him, that would have been his response. So I would still lose because it's gonna chip away my health. That was the problem, was, you know, keeping enough health to survive when he brings his little clones out.
Witness the might of the dragon.
See, I tried that. It does not work against him. He just moves around too fast. I didn't realize he can't go into the rock. Interesting. Yeah, because I have the evasive maneuver thing on the sword, I can dodge a lot of this stuff. The thing is, I just don't. I mean, you have to do damage. You can't just dodge and win the fight. Right? You have to do something. See, I tried it again. It's just not doing enough damage for me to wait for it to get charged up to do that. But of course, you know, like in a lot of these type of games, you try different things and you see what method works. because I'm committed to playing as a mage in this one. It's always going to be things that magic users would use. I've heard some content creators saying, oh, if you're a magic build, the end game is going to be just impossible for you. That's not exactly true. But you do have to figure out what works. You know, because what worked for one boss wouldn't necessarily work for the same boss, as I'm discovering. But it's okay, because not many people will go through and not die to a boss. I mean, even if they only die once. I mean, even the best players will die. Because sometimes all you need to do is make one mistake. That one mistake will cost you. See, this little move doesn't bother me. The first time it did, because I was like, what is that? So if you're constantly on the move, it's harder for them to hit you. And my stamina doesn't seem to be a problem in this fight. When I've died, it's not because of stamina. See, that one I could have dodged to the side. I didn't. For some reason, I just ate that whole spear thing that he was jamming through my gut.
Witness the might of the dragon.
The thing about this spell is that when you're casting it, it does protect you. You do have some invulnerability when you're casting. That you did it again. That move is a good time to heal. For some reason, when you're like really, really close to him and just going around in circles, he doesn't really do anything. Okay, now he's frostbitten. This means he can kill me even easier. It affects your stamina. That's what frostbite does.
I shall test the limits.
No, he's doing that. My understanding is that spell is awesome against the inner demon. It knocks her down every single time.
More likely, before me.
So in this part of the fight, when he's doing that and the clones are showing up, I'm never really sure who's hitting me, whether he's hitting me or whether the clones are hitting me. Someone's hitting me because my health is obviously going down.
Witness the might of the dragon.
If you stand there when he says witness the might of the dragon, he will use that spear to pluck you off the ground. So you need to be careful about that. I'm never close enough for him to do that slash move he just did. God, he's like Yellow Long in Black Knight Wuchang. Pretty spry for an old guy. And just so you know, there was a point at which I retempered my weapon to leech and actually tried to hit him. But it just that's just doesn't work for me on fast bosses or on human side bosses. It does work a little bit for larger bosses. This is one of those attempts where I was really, 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 really close, and this happened 2 different times. Where I was like, all I have to do is just hit him a couple of times, just a couple more times. Hit twice by him. I got no heals. Do I have heals? Yeah, I do have heals. But he doesn't give me time to heal. That's the problem. I don't have any time to heal. And his clone killed me. So the strat here would have been to use ephemeral form. Because if you use ephemeral form, it gives you a few seconds where you could heal without being hit. Although I think if you get hit one time, it sort of resets. And in that particular case, the clone hit me just before he was going to hit me. So I don't know whether that would have worked. But I would have needed to get one more heal in. And that attempt, there were a couple like that where I got him down to very, 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 very low health. And then, of course, you get frustrated, and the next time you fight him, you do crazy things, and you end up dying fast. He always gets that little slash in, even when I'm dodging. When he does the ice thing is an opportunity for you to actually get some hits in too.
This object possesses immense power, capable of
Boy, he talks as much as Erlang Shang does. He just never shuts up.
Yield before my might, I command you.
Yeah, the only time I think I really miss with that spell is when if he does it while I'm jumping. Well, if I do it while he's jumping. It's one of the few times he didn't hit me. He did hit me. Wow. Okay. The other thing about this spell is that I'm not doing nearly as much damage per cast. So in a war of attrition, this is always one that I'm going to lose because I'm just not doing as much damage. And I'll be out of health before I ever get him low enough to kill him. Earlier, that move would kill me every time. Okay, I want to get back because he's doing that move. I dodged at the right time, so it missed me. The other thing is, if you save the cast until you hear the audible cue, those stabs won't hit you. I didn't learn that until probably attempt number 30 or so. Yeah, stop worrying about the clones and just keep dodging. You know, I mean, if I'm standing still, they'll definitely hit me. If I'm dodging, they usually won't hit me. So the only time I stop is when I'm casting, or when I'm standing right next to him. So this is another one where I'm making really good progress with getting his health down pretty low.
Immortals guide my spirit.
That was a difficult one because I was at the end of my cast when I got hit by. Jesus, he's hitting me each time. Oh, he got me. I couldn't heal. I was trying to figure out what the best time is to heal. Clearly, I did not figure that out.
The Empire crumbles. Yet here I stand.
I always try to get one of those hits in from across the arena and save this one for this move.
Witness the might of the dragon.
Now I'll just strictly use fire. Yes. Occasionally I'm going to miss because he jumps at the correct time. I still think fire got me on my very first attempt at the game, of this fight, it worked really, really well. The other thing is this gives me some alacrity. And since I'm going to be dodging, I know I'm going to be refilling it pretty frequently. And if I can proc fire on him, it should do a lot more damage since he's a frost-based person. I still need to figure out my healing times. I tried to heal. Good heal. Good heal. Always keep moving because there we go. So you never know when he's going to do that little slash move. See, as long as you see the mark on the under his name that indicates that he's proc with fire, you'll do more damage. So as long as that's active, he's going to do more damage than you would do otherwise. That's why you see his health chunking pretty well. Now it's gone. But you want to keep that on as much as you can. Alright, looks like I totally missed. But the good thing is because I'm dodging everything all the time, it'll rebuild pretty quickly. It's just making sure that I use it at the right time and don't get sloppy or greedy. The good thing about this is that the little fireballs home in on him. They don't always get him. I'd say most of the time they do. When he's way up in the sky, sometimes they miss. But when he comes down to the ground, if they're still homing, they'll get him. Yeah, that was stupid. I ran right into that. That was dumb. As soon as he says, I shall test the limits, you should start backing away. See, now he's got frostbite on me, which means if he hits me with that again, he does more damage. This is good. So I got fire on him again. So I'm putting more damage. So every chance I get, I'm going to continue to hit him with fire. That one I was willing to trade, as long as I don't end up dying. Okay, cool. His little minions are driving me crazy. Oh my god. Wow, that was very fortunate I got the heal off on that one.
Witness the might of the dragon!
He really doesn't like me healing at this point. I just need to keep fire on him. The good thing is, fighting him so many times, I've become pretty efficient with the heals. So I ended up having heals left at the end of this fight, whereas in the earlier ones I had nothing left.
Witness the might of the dragon!
So if I can get two or three more of these fire things on him, that should do it. Assuming I don't freaking die. That's one. Survive his minions. Story of my life. However, you can see that this is the best strat. Because like in the very first time I fought him, I used that particular spell and it worked well. And this one, same thing. It's just that when you get him down to, let's say, 5% health, it seems like he conjures those minions a little bit more frequently, and then he just doesn't ever stop moving with the little whirlwind spear thing that he does. And until the end of the fight, I actually was doing pretty well with the heals in terms of saving them up for the right time. It's just that when you get to that part, I need to figure out a way to separate when his minions aren't there. When they're around, I just don't think there's any way to heal. I think when they're not around, you have to take a risk that he could hit you while healing. And then there's an item that heals you 100%, but I only have one of those. Versus your your regular mana, which may not heal you to 100%. So you can heal, but it might not heal you to 100%. And I think at this point my weapons are +9. You need a particular item to get them to +10. The panda sells that item, but I have no idea where the panda is right now. And I think after you buy it once from the panda, you can buy it from any of the merchants. So if you want a +10 more than one weapon, I don't know why you would, because when you make your weapon +10, it's the whole category of weapons. So every axe will be a +10 axe, every sword will be a +10 sword. So unless you're running two different builds simultaneously within the same playthrough, there's no real reason to do that.
The Empire crumbles. Yet here I stand.
Okay, let's see if I can do this without making a mistake. Or making many mistakes. This one we do because it gets us between 400 and 500 off of his health. And then wait for him to come in, and we'll do it again. Alright, now we can start juking him around the place.
Witness the might of the dragon.
Yep, now that I have fire procced on him, we can do a little bit. How do you hit me with that? You can do real damage on him.
This object possesses immense power.
Oh God, I had the wrong thing active. I was trying to find my heal. See, that would have killed me earlier. Get another heal in. Yeah, it messed up my whole little strategy because I was like, okay, I'm doing good. I have fire procced on him. All I have to do is keep hitting with fire.
Victory or defeat. All turn to dust.
Okay. God damn it. I did it again.
Prove thy worth.
I might not survive this one. Oh, okay, I did. Some miracle. I still see the fire symbol over there. Like, oh my God. 3 times in one attempt. Okay, so this might not be the attempt. And the reason he's doing it is because I'm just being sloppy. That's really sloppy.
I shall test the limits of the
making me eat through my health. Yeah, so you got me 3 times with that move, and he should never be getting me with that anymore. I mean, early in the game, I learned as soon as you hear that cue, you should dodge to the right or left or back. I think before I was just dodging forward.
Witness the might of the dragon! Immortal, strike my spear!
Yeah, I also decided to hit him a couple of times. When he's close, if I do that, I figure I can get some damage in even when I'm not casting the spells. But that's definitely not going to be my normal strat.
More lightly! Before me!
But now that I have fire proc on him, all I need to do is not get killed and do this 2 more times. I missed that one because he was flying around. Make sure you don't get hit by the minions. Make sure you don't get killed by him. Blasting fire.
Witness the might of the dragon!
No, you don't. Got him.
Still set on this path.
Oh my god. You guys have no idea how difficult that boss was. I saw someone's ranking of the boss and they had him up at... One person had him at number 1, the other person had him in the top S tier. And within that S tier, I think he was number 1 or 2. Someone had Commander Honglan as number 1. And I would have said she was number 1 early on. The reason I think is because you don't have the resources that you would normally have later in the game. Because when you fought her, when I fought her as Vermilion Feathers, she wasn't that difficult. But when I fought her as simply Commander Honglan early, I think I might have had, at the time that we fought, maybe 2 or 3 spells. Ultimately, I ended up using 1, the crystal thing that I was using against him earlier. And I just did that the whole time. Stayed away from her, and every chance I got, I did that. Okay, so we're gonna chat with him. He should be right over here, resting.
Noble of heart, unclouded of spirit, I pass this relic to you, and with it, my burden. Use it well, and may it spare the people from the horrors of the feathering. Noble of heart.
Okay, so I don't know whether we'll see him again. So I can't say that we will. But with that done, we now can go back to the Bow Capital, and I believe we will spend the rest of our time there, unless we have to backtrack to talk to an NPC somewhere. So the Bow Capital is, yeah, it's got some difficult enemies. It's got some different enemy types than what we faced so far. There are a number of these different variants of avian people there. And then we have some environmental things we have to deal with. So it's pretty interesting. I don't dislike it. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's very different from any of the areas we've been in before. The environments, they do a pretty good job. Cloud Spire was snowy. The Avian Dwelling area was sort of tropical foresty. This is more like the K-Lid in Elden Ring. You know, rot all over the place. Although I don't think it's rot here. I think it's corruption. Okay, so our task is to work our way around this corrupted pool of water. Let's call it a corrupted lake. There are a couple of enemies, and you want to avoid the splashing corruption stuff. These little enemies aren't really the problem, as we'll discover. They're pretty weak. I can just wait for them to get to me and hit them a couple of times and they're gone. Some of them are mages, and they'll fire corruption balls at you. Yeah, the purple flowers is what you need to make sure you have equipped, or you can switch to a corruption mitigating armor set, which I think this is anyway. Yeah, those plant-looking things, you can either lock on the body, or you can lock on the flower part. Either one works. They're not that difficult to kill. And I'm not going to go up and try to hit them. That thing in the middle with the gold thing sticking out, we want to save that for last, because there is an enemy attached to it. So the smart move is to take out the two flowers. We took out the one on the left. We're gonna next take out the one on the right, and take out the little enemies, a couple of whom will be mage enemies. Not sure whether this will reach it. Oh, it does. And does pretty good damage. It can't reach me over here. There is another variant of these that will fire a gold, some kind of gold blob at you. And of course, while we're doing this, we should loot the room. And note, this is actually not the way to progress. Just in case you're wondering. Progression is off to our, when facing the shrine, it'll be just off to our left. But there's a reason we're going this way. And there are a series of elevators that we need to activate. The first one is actually above where we are now, and we can't activate it from below. There was a structure that was right next to the shrine. This golden pillar that was in the ground. That's the structure we need to activate, but we can only activate it from the upper level. And it'll give you a shortcut back to the shrine. There are a number of those. Some of them give you shortcuts back to the shrine, and some of them give you openings to another area. Although I think looping through that other area, you eventually will get back to the shrine. This is probably overkill. You don't need that to kill this thing. But I didn't want to risk standing in the corruption. I didn't want to go to that little island yet. So you want to move as quick as you can so you're not hanging out in the corruption. Of course, these guys. It's amazing how some of them are randomly placed, the little corpse guys. Because we have not seen them since Doom Hollow Beach, I think is where we saw them the first time. Yeah, that blast came from one of the little mages, that guy over there. Unfortunately, they're both mages. They're not very strong. Once let's grab this item. Oh, he came out even before I went over there. Usually he won't activate until you go over to that spot. But I'm in a bad spot. I don't want to fight him in the corrupted water. I want to get back to close to the shrine, which is relatively corruption free. Get some heal on, and now we can fight him. He spits blight at you, and he covers the arena pretty well. Yeah, there are a number of these in the area. There's a smaller variant, and then that's a giant variant. So that's all there is in this first part of the right side of the arena. We're going to continue to work our way around, picking up whatever loot we can find. We're going to have a few more zombies. And we're going to have another plant. And then we're going to have one of those very difficult avian guys that I hate so much. And then that's the plant ahead. And another path forward ahead. But we're not going to take that path yet. It's not progression, by the way. It is just another part of this area down here. It actually leads to an underground area. So if I can do this without dying, you'll see it. If I end up dying, you'll see it in the next episode. Yeah, these little shambling zombie ones, they're really not all that. I don't know why I'm actually using spells on them. They don't hit very hard. That plant monster won't be able to hit you over here. It was one of the things I wasn't too sure about. But he can't hit from where he is. The distance is too far for him to really do anything to me. And there is loot over there that we need to get. But like I said, that leads to a different area. We're not going to deal with that right now. The way we want to go is over here. But since we almost killed that one, maybe we should just go ahead and put him out of his misery and then come back to this. Dude, your footsteps are loud. Okay, so there are a few more of them. There's nothing off to the right. Off to the left, that's one of the mages. Again, not very difficult. And he doesn't really follow you around. He's just going to stay in that spot and do that. There is another mage to his left, my right, near that door off to the side. And we're going to go up those steps eventually. That's the other mage. That's the one that can sort of shoot lasers at you. But we're not going to spend our time fighting him. Then these little ones on the ground, they're just dust. You can't get in there. You have to open it from the other side, which tells you that we're going to eventually end up on the other side of this cavernous cave. There's some loot up ahead, and there's one of those avian guardians. I don't remember what he's called. I think he's an avian guard. I think he's the guard variant. Not like that one. The one that has a gun. Because I'm trying to describe it. That one, those are pretty slow. The one we're about to face is pretty fast, moves around a lot, and will shoot at you. I mean, we're eventually going to clear everyone from this little cave area. Because that's what we do. It's this guy. He's so annoying. Yep, and that's why I love him so much. So you gotta work your way all through that area we just covered. All of the enemies are going to respawn. Now, I'm guessing you could just run past everything. Now that I've cleared it once, I feel good about saying I've cleared it versus re-clearing everything all over again. And in late game, it's not like I'm going to get enough to gain a level out of doing that. So those are the choices. Of course, I'm too far away. This is the junior variant of the thing that was near the golden item. And that's the thing we need to activate from above. And off to the left is progression in this area. Neither the junior version or the senior version of this is all that difficult. And I'm not sure. Huh? It's over here. course I can't go through. I'm not sure how far they will follow you when you run past them. My guess is they won't follow you too far. I could be wrong. That's my guess. I hear him yelling at me. Okay, well that was stupid. Just stand there and just eat all of the little corruption blobs. Okay, so that's about as far as he'll follow. That's good. But since I died before getting the treasure that's up here, I have to do this all over again. Oh, this is the other mage. He was further down the steps when we got him the first time. Yeah, I have not figured out a strategy. Oh my god. That's all I need is for her to pop out. Great. Now, if I'm smart, I'd run back up the steps and get her involved in fighting everybody else. But I'm going to take her this way. Actually, this is the wrong way. This is not the way I wanted to come. I wanted to go back towards where the shrine was. She's fighting someone. That's not the way either. This is where we were. If I can get her to come up the steps, that would be the best thing. So she can fight it out with that avian guy. But she's over there killing the plant. And okay, well at least I can use this to see if I can slow her down a little bit. Of course, nope, totally missed. Totally missed. For some stupid reason, it locked on to a zombie that didn't need that. Reg, the smart players run up the steps. This is silly because I was so panicked. I didn't think to just kite her up the steps so she can fight the other guy. He probably... Wow, okay. Alright. That's like that. The one time I decide to try to do a little melee attack, you block it. Okay, I'll just stick to using my spells. I think the guy, the avian guy up the steps would have probably killed her. I think he's got some moves that some of the other enemies that was able to kill her didn't have. I'm stuck on a rock. Yeah, she's down, but it was probably not the most brightest thing I've ever done because I should have just dragged her right up the steps to that guy. She definitely would have aggroed on him. But now, because of that stupidity, I now have to fight him again. And he'll probably kill me. So if he kills me this next time, we will pick up the next episode with me taking him on and getting the item that he was up there protecting. We're slightly over 2 hours, and I think that may be the limit of people's patience with my my playstyle. So we're gonna keep it brief. Let's see what happens when we go up here. I mean, he's such a difficult enemy. He's not in a spot where I could actually snipe him. So it's just one of those situations where, okay, well, you know, I can get a cast off, right? I have to come from behind the rocks to do it for some reason. You know, sometimes you can lock on right at the corner. This one won't let you. You have to sort of make yourself visible for that to happen. And while it does damage to him, it's just, I don't think the damage is as high as it is for some of the other enemies in the game. Plus, it doesn't stop him from shooting at you and all this other stuff. See, definitely didn't do as much damage. I think only like a third of those things actually hit him. So I don't know how far he will follow me. He seems to be running down the steps, so he's coming. Like I said, if I die here, I'm going to pick it up in the next episode. Unfortunately, you know, my opportunity... Yep, he's here. We can try dodging around the place like... That move almost feels undodgeable, which I know is not true. Of course, when I try to heal, he shoots at me. Yeah, I don't think this is giving me health on hit. Oh yeah, it is. A little bit. A little bit. Not nearly as much health as the amount that I lose when I get hit. Oh my god. Oh buddy, really? Okay, that helped a lot. One more time. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. I killed him, and he killed me. Guess what? The game is not fair enough to actually give me the kill, and because I died, every enemy is respawned, including that one. So I gotta do it all over again, no matter what. So, with that said, we are going to wrap things up here. So episode 12 is at an end. We were able to get some things accomplished in this episode. We fought the Reborn. We fought the white-robed elder. Who else did we fight? We fought Honglan Vermilion Feathers. And we fought the Nightmare Demon. So got some things done. So every Tuesday and Friday uploads. So we'll see you next time for episode 13. Take care. Bye-bye.